Hi, I'm Brandon. I love Freevee Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Freevee Christmas movies.
I'm Alonso, and did we watch a Freevee Christmas movie? And this
is the Deck the Hallmark Podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Have you just given up on saying Deck the Hallmark Podcast correctly?
Yes.
Like, I feel like we're on like a streak right now.
I've given up entirely. I don't know, man. This movie is everywhere. It's everywhere and nowhere at once.
Everywhere, everything. Yeah, of course.
Best per the Sleepy Kitty Paws website, I think it landed on Freevee first. But
and you may also know it as Peppermint Sand Postcard.
That's right.
Well, we did for sure.
Yeah,
we were at the premiere. We knew it that way. But yeah, for most laymen, I think it's a Christmas thing on Freevee.
Yeah. Alonso, you have a new book out. You're also, I believe, a year older. Is that correct?
It is true. Yes, this is one of those boring in between 5 and 0 birthdays, but I did have one. Yes.
Happy late birthday to you, my friend.
Thank you.
And you celebrated by releasing a book. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't do anything in half measures, you know.
He said, I will only put this book out if I can put it out the week of my birthday.
That's exactly
right.
Yeah.
If not, I'm not doing it. Well, congratulations on both things. A wonderful book, and I've seen lots of great feedback about it. All the double deckers that have bought it and have talked about it. It's been wonderful. Alonso, we're getting close to Bramblefest, and I know that you're excited. I want to know, what's the thing that you're most excited about coming back to God's country of at Greenville?
Well, I mean, you know, I love hanging out with the double deckers. They're fabulous. Shout out to Tracy, by the way, who schlepped all the way to Palm Springs to be at other one.
Got it.
Who schlepped all the way to Palm Springs for my book launch. That was very sweet of her. So yeah, love hanging out with those folks. Love nerding out with Scott, of course, about all things Christmas, because you know he's in Colorado. I only get to see him at Bramblefest. But yeah, just, I mean, all of it, seeing, you know, hanging out with you guys, being in, that Greenville.
Family reunion.
It's all a winner.
That's right. Now, Alonso, you've made it a 2 to 3 times a year habit now coming to Greenville. So you're pretty much.
It's true.
You're pretty
basically
much.
You should have a second house.
Yeah, you
like,
really
I
should.
know. I should have a pied-a-terre in Greenville, just, you know, for convenience sake.
Real estate's not getting any cheaper. I would go for it while you could.
Alonso, you have texted me, so I know the answer to this, but I imagine you have heard me and Jax talk about how we don't watch old movies.
Yes, you know, I was driving back from Palm Springs and listening to that episode, and I was like, oh boy, here we go. And Dan just kind of kept grilling y'all the whole episode, and I was like, oh, there's a show in this.
But I thought it was like The Sting is a softball, like Paul Newman. That's not a note like. Paul Newman, Alonso.
No, I agreed. I mean, look, there's a lot of stuff that clearly Brand and or Jax have not seen that are fun and breezy. They just have the misfortune of having been released before 1990. Right. And so how would they know?
Not much in cinema. You wrote a book. Not much in cinema happened before 90, really. I mean,
yeah, we were sort of vamping.
Mighty Ducks really greased the wheels, and we figured it out since then. You know what I mean? Like Spielberg took a few mulligans with E.T. and Jaws, and then Jurassic Park, he figured it out. He got it right then.
I have seen all those movies. For what it's worth.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So at least you got your
saw it in theaters as well a couple years ago. I really like that movie.
Wow, it's a good movie.
Let's talk It's a Christmas Thing, another cinematic masterpiece. Released on December 10th, 2023, and it went a little something like this. So Kara's daughter, Megan, is really excited about this Christmas. Why, you might be wondering? Because they're crazy. They're going to invite Kara's ex-husband, Chris, and his new fiancée, Suzette. They're going to all spend Christmas together. and it's going to be great. There's going to be no friction between this family at all. And if you think I'm being sarcastic, I'm not. It goes perfectly. So they all get to go together to pick out a Christmas tree together, and we then meet Chet Walters, a TV news reporter who is just trying to find a happy family to interview. So he stumbles upon Cara and immediately starts interviewing her, and it doesn't go great, especially when he starts asking about why she's single, as every reporter does with every single woman that they meet on the streets. All Megan wants, though, is for her mom to be happy. So she writes a letter to Santa, and everybody knows you put it by your open window at nighttime and let the letter fly away, and it'll go to Santa. Except in this case, it does not go to Santa. It ends up going to a guy who owns a bakery, and he thinks that this is cute, and so he hangs it up inside of the bakery. And Suzette walks in, she sees this, takes a picture of it, and posts it on her Swiftie accounts. We love Swiftie.
Yeah, we love Swiftie. It's Swiftygram, right?
Swiftygram, that's right. And so,
not just her Swiftie account. They would probably get sued for that.
They might.
Swiftygram.
Swiftygram.
Yes.
Not all Taylor Swift stuff, but mainly
Swift,
but also
yes.
pictures of
The
stuff like this.
Swifties need their own Instagram.
They really do.
That would help a lot, I think.
And so it this begins to gain traction on the internet, and Chet sees it. And so he shows up and asks Cara if she'd do an interview, and she's like, yeah, I'm not going to do an interview. But that doesn't stop the letter from going viral, and she is now coined on the internet as Santa Mom. Finally, Santa Mom agrees to let Chet do an interview, and he is clearly quite into her, and they set her up. They basically are going to try to find her Santa daddy. And so they set her up on various dates that they are going to record for entertainment purposes, as you do for the local news. And so set up with one guy, and it goes okay, but she's kind of into this and kind of wants to do more. So naturally, all of this is for the show. So Chet is around the entire time, and anytime there's a break in the action, or before or after, she and Chet are talking. And there's another guy that she goes out with who says that he's good at skating, but clearly he's not. He just liked the attention that this whole thing gave him. There is then the coffee shop owner from earlier, and he has known her for a very long time, but has kind of realized that maybe I should have a chance with her. So he bakes her some baked goods, and they end up going out on a date. And it doesn't go well. Maxwell is very nervous around the cameras. He doesn't really know what's going on because he didn't plan any of this. All of this was planned by Chet and the squad. And so he's not really sure what's going on. And Chet gives him these tickets to the Christmas dance time. Everyone knows it. Everybody loves it. And he's like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Now, there's a conversation that happens where she's like, hey, Chet, did you do all this, or what? Like, what's going on, basically? And he's like, no, this is just, it's all for the show. And we know Maxwell, blah, 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 Maxwell Horse, we all get it. And so she realizes after this date that it wasn't as magical with Maxwell as she thought that it would be. The sparks weren't quite there. Also, Chet has now been offered, because of how great this is going, a big promotion that would take him away. And so she wants to maybe explore things with Chet, but she finds out that Chet's going to be moving. And so she gets really mad. She gets really mad and all this stuff. And she's like, you know what? I'm just going to do this one last thing with Maxwell. We'll go to the dance, and you can do the thing, and then this is done.
Right.
She's very mad. So Chet's thinking. Chet's with his thoughts.
Yeah, but the daughter also hears this.
Yes,
right?
the daughter also hears this.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to take a second and realize, I think I like this woman. This woman. And so at the dance, everything kind of finally comes out, and he begins to give this big speech. He's like, I was going to go and get this promotion. And it's at this point that she begins to walk away, and then he professes, but I have found out that I really like this woman and all this good stuff. And so they come together and they kiss. Those are your postcards and your peppermints. And that was It's a Christmas Thing.
Sort of. We did it.
Did I miss something?
No. I just like it's such a, you saying it all made me realize how like it barely all hangs together from one scene to another. Which I mean, this is a hot take. I would never jump ahead.
It's held together with a peppermint.
Like you kept saying stuff, and I'm like, "There's more to it than that." And then I was like, "I don't know if there. I don't know if there is."
That is all of it.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll break down It's a Christmas Thing here on Deck the Hallmark.
Hey, you nailed it.
Thank you. Welcome back. It's a Monday. We're talking about the 2023 movie, It's a Christmas Thing. Let's break it down. We're going to start with our hot take. We're going to share exactly how we felt about this movie, and I will start with Alonso. Alonso, what'd you think?
I understand what we're doing here. You know, I watch these movies through a particular filter. I'm very much grading on a curve. I know the shape and the form of these movies and what they're out to accomplish and what buttons they're out to push in people. I get it. I'm not coming in and trying to hold this up to a standard that it can't live up to. This movie slid off my brain as I was watching.
Yeah.
It is so inconsequential and such even by the standards of these movies that we do here every week, it is such nothing, you know, and like it made me think about the movies like this that I like better that do the same thing better. Like the whole thing of, you know, it's the exes and the husband has a new fiance, but they're getting along and they're not being like, you know, crabby at each other. I thought, oh yeah, remember Crashing Through the Snow, like how well that movie did that, you know, and just all the things along the way. It just felt like this. And we make this joke all the time, but this feels like an AI version of one of these movies that a computer that has never met people or Christmas wrote. And yeah, it just, I was desperately trying to remember it while I was watching it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's accurate, and we like Chris Russell around here, and
Chris Russell.
It's always good to see him. He's great on the camera, but yeah, there's just not a lot to it, and it's a nice enough story. I will say, like the one thing that this movie did it's hard to do, but I did actively dislike Chris Russell's character, which is never what you want out of the leading guy character.
He is offensive.
He's just a jerk, and you know, lots of times these characters starts as jerks, and then they turn the corner. It turns out that they're nice guys. I think he's just kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll get into the whys behind why we think that later on. But it's never good when you have a movie that is erring on the boring side, where the only thing that you really remember about it is, boy, I really didn't like that character. That is never a good sign. And so the movie happened. It looked good. It seemed like it would have made for a similar budget as the other networks that we review have, but there's just not a lot to it. Dano?
Yeah, this movie is Vincent D'Onofrio in the skin suit in Men in Black. It from a very far distance, it looks like Edgar. It looks like a Christmas movie, and then when you get closer, you realize whoever's in there thinks it's a Christmas movie. But it is not all acting and walking the way that it should walk as a Christmas movie. Yes, do they have 8 nutcrackers and 6 wreaths and 4 trees on a porch? Yes, but they are not doing the thing that they think they're doing. I think that they think just the presence of these things produces the thing that they're trying to make, and it doesn't. Chris Russell's character is a jerk. I won't be the first to mention it. I'm sure if it gets to me in the Wait What's, I'll be shocked. He does some stuff in this movie that is just unbelievable. But also, and I'm trying to say this while being very above board, I've never been more thankful for like time spent on quality supporting casts than I have in other movies, the way I have watching this movie. Because after Chris Russell, it gets tough in a hurry in this movie. And so all of that with a plot that is easy. It's a softball plot. We've seen it before. This is a plot that should work really well. Doing a story on
Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah, like you should be able to knock this out easily. To screw this plot up, it takes work, and they did it. That's because they're an alien in a skin suit. They don't actually know what's going on here. So yeah, not great. And I got to be honest. What's wild is that. No, I'm not going to say it. Never mind.
It's time for all the feels. We're talking about what in this movie gave us those feels. Alonso.
Well, weirdly, to piggyback on what you're saying about the Chris Russell character, I think the two times I wrote down feels in this movie was I love her initial irritation with him, and that she has a legit reason to be mad at him at the end of the movie because he's being a jerk.
Yeah, he's an a-hole. He is something.
Yeah.
You have to look as good as Chris Russell to do and say the stuff that he does in this movie.
That's right.
You get arrested.
Oh,
otherwise.
Yeah. I got real excited for a moment here because this little girl writes this letter. She puts it by the window. The window is open. And we get like this, mysterious music.
Some chimes.
The wind blows. And I'm like, we got some Christmas magic. And I felt really excited about that.
Yep.
And then they, to their credit, they squash that really quickly. They don't let me get carried away in my excitement because it turns out someone's just going to post a picture of it and that's going to be the end of it. No Christmas magic at all. But for a second there, I thought that there would be, and that made me happy. Dan?
Yeah, I think Chris Russell's a jerk in this movie. I think the only redeeming factor of this movie, however, is Chris Russell, I think, knows what he's dealing with and is clearly trying to have some fun doing the thing he's doing. And I don't know how to make that make sense. Don't go watch the movie for that. But either he's just head and shoulders a better actor than everybody else is, or he knows exactly what's happening here and he's going to make the most of it. But he takes some risks in this movie that I just can't believe were on the paper. And that does make it. It's the only thing memorable about this movie is some of the stuff that Chris Russell and his character do. That's all I have.
It's time to take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll get to the way what and the Hallmark.
Freevee.
I don't know. Here on the Hallmark. Who should say the name long? Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about It's a Christmas Thing, the title of this movie, because
it isn't Peppermints and Postables.
Postcards made a little bit of sense. The original title, because she got a lot of letters.
None of them were postcards that we could see.
None of them were postcards.
Peppermint. Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. Yeah,
Neither title's good.
Not great.
Neither title.
It's a good title for another movie,
it's a
maybe,
Christmas
but not this one.
It is time for the Wait What Is, where we talk about what in this movie made us go wait what, aside from the title.
I mean, unless you were saying like in describing the movie, you wouldn't get it. It's a Christmas thing.
You wouldn't get it. It's a Christmas.
Yeah, maybe that would be the thing.
Alonso, what you got?
All right, so the first time we see the Chris Russell character, he's a TV news guy, and he's like, "I'm here live at the bakery," and then something happens, like the baker guy freezes, or there's something wrong with the interview, and he goes, "And cut," and I'm like, "Okay, then you're not live. You're not live. If you're and cut means you're not live. You're recording something that's going to be played
loose with if they are live in this movie. It is absurd.
Yeah. It comes up several times.
We are supposed to believe that when that red light is on, when we're looking through the camera, that they're live. I think we're supposed to believe that, and we're never live. I don't think we're ever live in the movie.
I don't. Yeah, no, I think you're right.
This is ridiculous. Yeah.
This is another movie this came up a couple weeks ago. I forget which one now. This is a real snow that looks like fake snow movie.
Yeah.
Like they shot it in the winter, there's snow everywhere, and yet when they get up close with it and have to involve it somehow, it looks like a movie with fake snow.
Go ahead, finish. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I don't know how you do that.
Well, I will say there's one scene where the girl throws snowballs at our two leads, and the snowballs just bounce off of them like ricochet, like no snow. It just the ball, like it's like they're throwing up. So like, I don't know what's going on. The snow on the ground looks real. When she throws those snowballs, they are wiffle balls. Like they are like just like stone, just right out. Like so, I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah, it's baffling. And okay, this is a movie about a woman who goes viral because of her single status, and every message online is positive
right.
and affirming and encouraging.
Right.
And I'm like, have they been online ever? Because somewhere amidst all of those encouraging messages would be some real toxic
We've never
grossness.
dealt with any group of people or fan base that has ever had anything negative to say.
No.
This is maybe it's just us, Alonso.
Yeah.
We always
Could be. Yeah.
we don't ever catch that at all.
Teflon.
Yeah.
Let's find
That's it.
her. Let's kill her.
Exactly.
Yeah. All those bags of
let's
letters,
squash her dreams.
not a single stalker or
Yeah,
murderer
no one's
in the
weird.
bunch.
So
Maybe you wouldn't be single if you lost another 20
Yeah, no
pounds.
one-
you know, like it would have been
everyone
like horror.
Yeah, cut
stuff
that
out
if you
there.
could, Lee.
everyone's on
Just-
the up and
he's
up.
here to shred, and maybe you wouldn't be single.
I have a few. One, I've never felt sadder for a character than when he picked up his phone because he had a notification, and the notification was just that he has no new messages.
It's my favorite.
It's so sad. He's like, oh, what's this? Oh,
This phone is
reminding you you're
this
a
phone's
loser.
passive aggressive. It is one step away from an FU notification.
no one likes
Like
you.
you're a loser. Oh, thank you, phone, for that word of deformation. Like
great.
it's just
You will die
yeah.
alone.
No, what phone does that?
No new messages.
All you have to say is nothing, phone.
Nothing.
No,
that would be
messages.
the way to get across that
Yeah.
I have no new messages. Just
We
show
promise. We checked.
We checked.
We
We-
checked the spam folder. You got nothing.
me. Another.
You loser.
Would love to show you something. He comes over finally to do the first interview
Yeah.
at her house, and he basically tells her to go change. And
Yeah.
then she comes down the stairs, and his eyes get super big, and we're like, oh great, he can see her. Except no, he can't, because his eyes are big before she even walks around the corner. So he was just anticipating.
It's not a great
was-
editing job.
It was anticipatory.
It is like she's still hidden from view, and we get the shot that is in all of these movies where it's like, oh my gosh, look at how
amazing.
good she looks, and she's not visible
She's
yet.
not. You can't see her.
It's
can't
tough.
see her.
Real tough.
Also about this interview that he does, he says, all right, so let's start with your divorce.
Yeah.
Which
This is a huge one.
so bold. It's bold. It's crazy. And then when she pushes,
Who doesn't want to hear that?
when she
question?
pushes back, he's like, we can always move stuff around and post. And it's like, well, yes, you could, but also what if you just start in it, the order in which you want it?
There's three crazy things happening there. One, he basically asked the hardest question first.
Yeah.
Which, if you've seen any journalism, courtroom drama, anyone where anybody's trying to get someone to answer a question, you don't just come out of the gate with it. Like you
Warm them up. a
You
little.
warm up. Yeah, exactly. You Tom Cruise wasn't just like, did you order the code red? Like he builds to the code red. You build to the code red, man. Like, and then second of all, well, I asked this first because we can just chop it up. You made a lot more work for yourself and your editor. And second of all, how are you going to edit that to where it just goes, how about the divorce? Like, it's going to be a bad edit, man. It's terrible.
And you might be wondering why she's single to begin with. Don't worry, we got the scoop. Here it is. And last but not least, on the biggest, offense of this guy being a tool is,
You need
early-
to watch Philo TV for this.
Early-
Philo.tv/DTH.
early on in the dating process, she's very hyper, like
She's
nervous.
nervous. She talks
nervous,
louder
hyper
and
energy.
faster,
Right.
yeah.
And so she starts talking, and he tells her, hey, how about anytime I feel like you're going a little overboard, I just give you one of these numbers. Taking some fingers and putting them closer together to tell her to quiet down just a little bit.
That's right.
And, it's not how I would do it
Yeah, it's
if I'm the
bad.
producer.
It's just run-of-the-mill bad to
But
start with.
it's
Yes.
that's what he wanted to do, and she didn't seem to be bothered by it. And so, because of that, throughout the movie, whether it is for the story or not,
Correct.
if he feels like she's being a little bit too much, he does this motion to her, whether it's for the story or not. And that's crazy.
Ladies, he looks like Chris Russell, but every time that he thinks you're being a little bit much, he's going to give you a lower the volume sign.
Can we just
to lower the volume just a little bit.
too much?
This movie has said the quiet part out loud. There, he's literally quieting women. He's silencing women. That's what he's literally like. This is a cute bit. The cute bit for this movie is that I'm going to do this.
I think he even does it in the love declaration at the end.
Yes, he does.
I think he does this right before they kiss.
He does it.
Don't like it.
It's real bad. Alonso, are you frozen? Or are you dead? Or what's going on there?
Oh, I don't know what's going
I don't
on.
know.
His camera's being
weird.
weird.
Popping around.
Dano, what do you got?
Yeah. Alonso, did you have something to say there? You look like you're about to talk.
I was just saying, yeah, what?
I don't think he has anything to
say. He's got anything
to say. Dan, what do you got?
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, they go to a tree lot, a Christmas tree lot, and the Christmas trees for sale in this lot are either completely no lights, completely full of lights, or lights just in the middle. So like just in the middle portion of the tree. I don't know why you would sell a tree like that. I don't know how you got lights just in the middle without plugging them in to light up, but they did it. Congratulations. The most ridiculous character in this movie is the stepmom Suzette, who they say is French, and she is as French as French fries or French as mustard. She has taken 3 continents worth of accents and put them into a melting pot, none of which are French. She couldn't be less French if she tried. Just watch her say things. It is worth the movie to watch this supposedly French woman speak. It is an absolute riot. This little girl leaves, it's snowing outside. She leaves a letter to Santa on her open windowsill, which means she is sleeping in a room where it is under 32 degrees and the wind is blowing.
Right.
I like it cold as much as the next person. Ain't no way that kid's sleeping. She's not. There's no way it's happening. No way, no how. Not an issue. We also see that our leading lady, what's her name? I don't remember her name. Cara gets bags and bags of letters from men all across the country that want to date her. All positive, as Alonso said. Bags and bags of letters. And then she says offhand, I'm going to write him a thank you card back. Cara has committed. Now, I don't know. Did you write thank you notes after your wedding? Or did Caitlin do all of it?
Yeah, I did some. Yeah.
I tried to help out.
Yeah.
I tried my best to help out. It was a miserable experience. And we had to write maybe 100. Cara has, I'm going to lowball it, 500 thank you notes to write just because dudes are interested in dating her. So
Santa
what she's
Mom.
saying is she's going to, what?
Santa Mom.
Yeah, she's going to have to get 500 thank you cards and write, dear such and such, thank you for wanting to date me. Put it in the mail.
Thank you.
I don't get that one at all. We get a classic in this movie. The classic we get is Chris Russell's character got the promotion he's been waiting on for 2 years.
Yes.
And we know what that all means. He has to leave Christmas Eve night after the dance.
Yeah.
So not Christmas Eve day. He has to leave after the dance. It's like 9:30 Christmas Eve night. He can't leave any later than that. If not, he won't be there in time for the midnight Christmas Day promotional thing that they're doing on the news channel, wherever they're doing it. Yeah, so I got that. That's all I got.
Thanks, Dano. It's time for what the Hallmark is, where we talk about what in this movie made us wonder. Maybe you got some questions still. I don't know. Like maybe you're still wondering about some stuff.
Yeah.
We would like those answers. Alonso, what are you still wondering about?
Or just like she just clearly belonged with the baker. Like I think like, yeah, so fine. You got nervous with the camera on and stuff, but like that seems to be the real couple that should be happening here, and maybe not a guy who's gonna like direct your emotions for the rest of your life.
Can I tell you that early on in this movie, the one saving grace to me was the Maxwell character and the Cara character had such strong chemistry that I was like, maybe it turns out Chris Russell's a jerk and these two end up together. And then they do this thing where all of a sudden he just can't. He
fails.
He can't like do anything because the camera's on, and so the chemistry isn't real. Yeah. I just thought it was ridiculous.
Right. I do want to know like how like what kind of was the plan with the story that he was working on? Was it going to play on Christmas Day? Did they air it? Like, how did all of it? Were they showing it in real time?
Yeah, because it seemed like the Christmas Eve thing was live.
Yeah.
That was the one time where I thought it might have been live.
They didn't give me any reason to think that it wasn't, aside from the entirety of the movie so far and how it's not live.
Yeah, of course.
So I just have questions about, was it airing live, or was it all going to air on Christmas? Or were they airing it, throughout the leading up to Christmas? I don't know. Dano?
The What the Hallmark here, the Freevee is definitely Nigel. The Nigel character, which is the second date she goes on. This guy steps out of like what appears to be a limousine or maybe some sort of car and immediately starts signing autographs. And I assumed it was because he was a celebrity that wanted to date Santa Mom. He gets down the stairs and we find out, no, the way I understand it is he's signing autographs purely because he's going on a date with her. Is that the way we're supposed to understand that? I need to know more. I need to know more about what's going on there. I have no information. We didn't get enough Nigel.
It's Nigel.
That's
Nigel for you.
Yeah.
We did it, everybody. Congratulations. Join us next Monday, Memorial Day. Spend your day off listening to us. We'll be heading over to a streamer called All Black. That's ALLBLK, all one word, for a movie called Christmas Holidays.
Christmas
Holidays.
I got you.
Come hang out with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll be back tomorrow, of course, with more Deck the Hallmark. Until then, maybe the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark is a Bramble Jam podcast. It's produced by Aaron Shea. What? For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.